Which are the x and y intercepts of the following exponential equation?
I'm sorry.
Take your thing out. So x-intercept, first off, this is the x-axis. Is it ever going to cross the x-axis?
No.
No. So are we going to have an x-intercept?
No.
No. So it doesn't exist.
Doesn't exist.
Correct. Because it doesn't cross it. Now the y-intercept is right here. And that is when what is 0?
4.
What do you mean?
When what is 0? The x or the y?
X.
The x. So 0, comma, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I think Cadence put in, did you do y equals 4? And it worked, which I'm surprised. But definitely an ordered pair. Possibly just the number. You're just going to have to try it. Okay, number 2. What are the x-intercepts of this exponential equation? Provide all the answers accurate to the nearest hundred. This is where you're going to need to pay attention because we haven't done one like this. So, on your calculator, of course you go to y equals, and see that e?
Yes, ma'am.
That's actually not it's not a variable, it's exponential. So, in the calculator, if you look at ln, so let me zoom in on ln next to 4, you have the e of x.
Can we do second and then the divided time also to do that?
So, you are going, no, you're going to do second and L of n. Please stop talking.
But I got the e from being second. And then it's
Yeah, it's there too. You are correct.
What are you talking about?
I did not see that. But the e of x, if you push the e of x, it will automatically take you to the exponents. And then I need to add minus 7. Of course, if you do negative 7, then it will end up multiplying. Okay, so we're graphing, so you want to look at it. So, just like the other day, the range we used, when we did the range, we used the negative 7. So I'm pretty sure that this is still negative 7. And so let's see, the x-intercept. Do we have an x-intercept?
Yes.
No, it doesn't cross the x-axis. So again, it doesn't exist.
Hey, Miss Flora, mine goes up. I think I do.
Yeah, mine-
is it
mine
like a
goes
negative
too.
7 or is it minus 7?
It is minus.
Oh.
If you use negative, it's going to multiply. And it's going to make it go up. Oh, I got the negative 4. So the negative makes it go down. Okay. So the y-intercept is when x is 0. So I'm going to go second table. And when x is 0, very good, I got the right answer. Y is negative 87.34. So 0, comma, negative 87.34, and then put parentheses around it because it's an ordered pair. So I looked when x equals 0. So we graph it and see it doesn't have an x-intercept, and then look when x equals 0. Okay, so number 3. Do we have an e on this one? No. So I'm just going to move down. So on the equal sign, I didn't highlight it, so that one won't show up again. So negative 8 times 7. Oops, move over. Negative 8 times 7 raised to the negative 5x minus 5. Move over, and plus 1. And graph. Okay, so this time are we going to have an x-intercept? Yeah. And we also have a y-intercept in that asymptote. What's the asymptote? What's it getting close to but never crossing? 1. Okay, so let's go to our table and see what we can see. So it's getting, so even though it says 1, it's actually not 1.
Write that down.
For the y-intercept, so the y-intercept is going to be, and we're rounding it to the nearest hundred. So how many decimal places is that? How many decimal places is the nearest hundred? It's 2, but what are the 9s going to do to it?
Round up.
Round up. So the y-intercept is going to be 0, 1, because it's going to round up to 1. So the 9 is going to make it go up. The x-intercept is when y equals 0. So we're going to get really small right here. So you have 2 ways to find this. Here's one. You can do, so graph it, do second calculate, and to find the x-intercept, that is also known as the 0, right? So we're looking for an ordered pair. So we go to second calculate number 2, 0. And we need to be left and right of it. Are we left of that 0 right now?
Yes.
Above it's to the left? No, you got to get below it. So you press the left button until that little turtle is anywhere below it. So anywhere negative, press enter, and then go to the right of it, anywhere above it, press enter, and then one more time, and then it gives us the 0. Negative 7, 8, 6. What's the 6 going to do to the 8? Round it up. So that is negative 0.79 and 0. That's one way. The second way is to use the table. So we can visually see that the x-intercept is close to -1. So you go to second table set, go to -1, and since we're rounding to the nearest hundredth, change this to 0.01. The disadvantage with this method is that the numbers are so close together that you could easily pick the wrong one if you don't slow down and do it. So I'm looking for the number closest to 0. And typically we switch from negative to positive. So at negative 0.79 and negative 0.78, you've got basically 5 cents and 4 cents. So then the negative 0.79 is the number closest to 0. So that's where it changes from negative to positive. And which of the two is closest to 0. So that's using your table set. And so you graph it, find where it's at, start where it is, and then do your change every 0.01 to the nearest hundredth. Or use the 0, which I think is easier. And boys, hold it.
Dude, she caught that
Okay.
on video. She caught that on video.
Number 4. Let me. Okay. So, true or false? The line shown on the graph is the asymptote. And so now we can see how to spell it. Asymptote for the exponential curve on the graph. So the asymptote is where it gets close to but never crosses. So that would be right here. So what's my answer?
1, 2, 3.
Is it true or false? False. That's the asymptote, not down there. So the answer is false. Okay, so your asymptote is where it gets close to, but yes, you're going to have to name it on the next ones. Okay, number 5. What is the equation of the horizontal asymptote? So if we're given an equation to a horizontal line, is it going to be x equals or y equals?
X. Y.
Why? Because we're crossing the y-axis. Okay, so there's your asymptote. It's getting close to that. So it's going to be y is equal to what? 1. Be careful if there are numbers on the graph that's given that you pay attention to the numbers. If they're not, you can assume that the scale is 1. If there are numbers, chances are the scale is not 1. Okay, number 6. It's going to be y equals what?
-7.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good job. So -7. And that's it.